Hey everybody, this is your girl, TheeHeiress, and we are back again with Shop Talk. If you have missed any of our Shop Talk interviews and you are just tuning in, I need you to know that if you are in the beauty profession, get with me. Shop Talk is where we put the spotlight, we shine the spotlight on our beauty industry professionals. We want to bring them to you. We want you to know their name, know what they're doing, how they moving and shaking in this industry. And we want them to tell you and give you some advice for your next. Maybe it's something that they are doing that you want to do, and they have the solution to the question that you was about to ask. So we are here and we are doing this Shop Talk interview, and we are in collaboration with our Dyvine Connections Networking Group. That group is where we help those that want to be entrepreneurs, those that want to, even whether you're in the beauty industry or not, you want to create financial sustainability, generational wealth. We are here for that. We want you to grow, and not just grow in finances, but grow in a financial wealthy mindset, because that's where you can take $1 and make it 15 cents, and 15 cents make it $1 million, however, but you can slice it all up, because we teach you about the power to create wealth. Our mission is where we create knowledge-based events. We bring in market experts to talk to you, to teach you, to help you grow. And then I also offer group packages of mentorships, one-on-one coaching. You get to pick my brain for a fee this time. You can't take me to dinner. No more lunchings, none of that. We have created a package where you get that one-on-one coaching, mentorships, online classes, so much stuff within that networking group. And so together we have married this platform so that we can bring you nothing but the best. But I don't want to hold up this too much longer, because I know this queen got some stuff for you. I am here with Marcina Pride. This young lady is a serial entrepreneur. She is someone who I have always looked up to since coming to Florida. She was someone I met very early on and seen the things that she was doing, how she was changing the industry. And I'm so happy and honored to have her here. Marcina, please tell our guests a little bit about you. Introduce yourself, tell them where you're from, where you're at. Just...
Well, thank you so much for that. Like, I mean, you of course, you're making my Monday right about now. But yes, I am definitely a serial entrepreneur. I am a wife, mother of 5 adult children. Let's see, currently I live in Tallahassee, but I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida. I love it. Graduated Lakewood High School, class of 87. So I don't have a problem telling my age, 53, proud of it. So honey, you know, when they say the black don't crack, it don't crack. It might bend a little bit, but it ain't gonna crack.
Yeah.
The serial entrepreneur idol I have about businesses, one of which is, you know, my corporation and natural experience, which covers my my expo that we have every year, coming up on our 10th year. And that was my baby, started from, you know, my love of the natural hair industry. So as a natural hairstylist of 35 years plus, I created a format to celebrate our Black hair, and some of the stuff I always say, you know, the salon was like the beacon of information. The salon was the first social media. You know, people always came to their stylist asking, you know, hey, you know, a good doctor, you know, a good dentist, you know, a good realtor. And we always had the information, because people always come through like, oh, anybody ever needs something, let them know. So when I created the expo, I'm like, God, I want to make sure I have some good realtors there, some financial advisors there, home ownership people, because we still are our best resource. Referrals, word of mouth is still the best resource of information. So I wanted to create something where all of that was in, you know, one area, whatever. So that's my baby. That has, you know, has grown and seen, you know, success. And I love what it is doing. And when my little grandbaby, who is 5, is like, Gma, I can't wait to be on your stage because I love my hair too. And I'm like, okay, I'm creating something that not only my children have seen grow, because they were all teenagers when it started, and now they're all in their 20s and 30s, that, you know, my grandbaby can now say, oh, my Gma did this. So
right, is that, and that's why it's important to create that generational wealth. So many of stylists and barbers that went before us, you know, they got stuck behind that chair, and when they stopped, everything stopped. And when I look at you, this is forward movement. This is what we aspire to do, to come from behind that chair and create that generational thing that will live past you, live beyond you, and people will continue to talk about it, and, you know, and it just outlives you. And I don't think you understand to that degree, especially in our Black and brown communities, how to create that generational wealthy mindset and live and hope and plan and have goals that outlive them. It's okay for your goal to outlive you. You know what I'm saying? Be selfish. I say the grave is the it makes more money than anything. You know what I'm saying? It's the most expensive land because it's full of ideas. But your idea should outlive you. And that was one of the things that I really loved about you, is that you didn't just stop there. And what you said is so important. Is we as barbers and stylists don't realize that we're the plug. We're the plug. We're the counselors, we're the, you know, the therapists. We you know, we are the plug. So many people, even those that are in politics, and they don't know what to do. They gotta even come to us to find out what's going on in the community. They don't even know what's going on. We know more about what's going on in the community to affect change than majority of the people, between the church and the barbershop or the salon. That's where all of the people are getting their information from. But then they wanted to call us non-essentials. But anyway, you know, you might start something. So you, Lakewood, Hollywood High, you see, I'm not from here, but I done learned enough about Hollywood High. So
yes,
I'm quite sure. I don't know how you got into this career, but if you went to Hollywood High, it would make sense. So how did you choose this career? Were you the one that was playing with Barbies from an early age, or was it a pivot for you like me? How did you
I think it kind of chose me. I can remember I used to get my hair braided like every 2 weeks. There was a young lady, and she did some phenomenal styles on my hair. And I think I might have been about maybe 10 to 13. I was getting my hair done every couple of weeks. And I can remember, it's so crazy. The first time I got hair added, I think I was in the 5th grade. And that was like, 40 years ago. And hair was added. The kids talked about me. Oh, I got that horse hair in my hair and all kind of stuff. So I took the hair out, and I had to get my hair braided. So I just would get my own natural hair braided for a while. But there would be kids in my neighborhood that, couldn't get their hair done as often as I was getting my hair done. So I would braid up some of the kids' hair in the neighborhood. So when I left for college, I graduated from Florida A&M. So when I came to college, that's how I ended up in Tallahassee. So when I came to college, I was still braiding my hair, and I would have people ask me, oh, I like that style. And I always did my own hair. So I learned early on, I was my best advertisement. I was a walking billboard for my business. So I would braid my hair, and I got clients that way. I went back home my sophomore year. I had my son, and I was like, okay, I know St. Pete is not going to give me what I need. I need to go back to Tallahassee because I need to finish this degree. I got back to Tallahassee with a 6-week-old child, and we were living in a 1-bedroom, sharing a bed, and I was working at a laundromat. I used to take my son because I had to find a job that I could take my child to.
Right.
Times have changed because I'm thinking me and the owner might have went to jail if I had a little baby that I was taking to work. I was washing, drying, folding clothes. I probably was making $5 an hour or something. And I was like, this not it. And what was crazy, I was receiving welfare. I used to get a welfare check. I think it was like $190 or something, food stamps. I had a little car that I paid a couple $100 for, but the state told me that I could not, they would pay for me to continue school and give me vouchers, but not at FAMU. They would pay for me to go to the community college. So I was like, oh, so you'll pay for me to AA, but not my bachelor's. So I said, okay, I talked to my advisors. I found out what classes I could take community college that were going to transfer, because I was going to go back to FAM. And I said, well, I went to the community college and I took, the classes that I knew would transfer, and I had to pay out of pocket. So every time somebody, would ask about a braid style or whatever, I would braid and fast at the braid while he was sleeping, or, could be easily entertained.
You're cutting out. Hold on. I don't know if your internet, where you at,
Okay.
it's slowed down. So I want them.
Okay.
So it's slowing down. So maybe you need to say that. I know you said you was at FAMU and you started, they was giving you vouchers and they wanted you to go to the other school. That's where, and then your picture got.
Oh. Okay. So I talked with the advisor as to what classes I could take at the community college that would transfer, because I knew I was going to get my bachelor's. That was my goal, because I was brought up in at a time where college was going to be the next. I was open some more doors. So I was like, okay, I got to get this degree, because I saw where there was family members that didn't go off to school, and that wasn't the life that I saw for myself. I always saw that there was more. So I started braiding, and then I think probably about 94, I wanted to learn more techniques. I saw some of the stuff in the books, but I didn't know how they were doing certain techniques. So I reached out to Leah YG in Atlanta. Maybe that was the connection you had for me. But she was teaching the 4-day hands-on class. It was, at the time, it was $1,000. It was 4 days, and she said she'll teach us over 20 techniques, and it was very in-depth. I braided, got the money together. I think I caught the bus there because I had to take my son. Took my son up there to Atlanta, and I took her class. And when I say some of the techniques, one of the techniques was knotless braids. Guess what we're doing right now? Knotless braids. One of the techniques was Senegalese twist. Guess what we're doing right now? Senegalese rope twist.
So this
one of the techniques was
So this ain't new. So we think it's new. It ain't even.
No, not at all. The wrap, like all the faux locks and everything, I learned that in the class. And you're talking about, this is the class I took in 94.
Wow.
I took this class in 94. And when I say I've made that over and over again, Talia became a mentor of mine. When I talked to her and reached out, her salon was making over $30,000 a month just doing natural hair and braids.
Wow. 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 So maybe that's, I lost you. I've lost you. Hold on. I can't see you. Your picture went completely out. We'll wait for her, y'all.
You see me yet?
No. Might have to move into another room or something where you get better reception.
Okay, let me see. Go into it.
Oh, now you came back.
Okay, I'm gonna go into this area. Let me see if this works better. Right.
It's sometimes those.
How's that for us?
Let's see.
Are we better?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay.
I can see you. Oh, all right. A little glare behind you, but that's okay.
Oh, wait, let me see if I turn it. Okay, let me see. Oh, yeah. That's the glare. Okay. Okay.
There you go. Yeah, much better.
Okay.
Yeah. Much better. Much better. But it's so crazy because I try to tell people that what is new to us is really old to somebody else. Because I remember someone coming from Atlanta into my shop and I was doing locks, and she showed me how to do the little twist they're doing now where they make the locks smaller, shorter, without cutting. And we didn't have a name for it.
Mm-hmm.
This was 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And matter of fact, it was about 7 years ago. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to call it Urban Knots. And now I'm seeing the girls do it, and they're, and I'm like, I was doing that 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a name for it. So people always new. No, the idea is new to you, but if you go back and go and Talia, oh my God, to be able to say that you trained under her, that's epic, because most people who are just coming into this industry only know her for her products. I didn't even, unless you really go back into her history, you won't even know that she had a shop teaching. You wouldn't even know that. So you actually got to experience firsthand her beginnings. Yep. And it's at $30,000 a month. Some of us are still aspiring to get to $30,000 a month, and she was making that back in, what do you say, in the 90s?
In the 90s, yes.
So don't nobody get to tell us what we can make. This is why this career is so lucrative. Right. It's so lucrative.
It is.
So, so you've been in the industry, what would they call it? That's more than what's a decade?
That's 10 years. So I've been for a few days.
Yeah, for at least 2 decades. Because decade is 10 years. And so you got over 20 some years. We're speaking with an icon, a staple in St. Pete right now. Y'all don't even understand the quality of this interview that y'all are getting right now, because not only is she still in the industry, she's alive, fabulous. Look at her, like, come on now, like, she's still moving and shaking and doing all these things. And she got 2 decades. I'm like I said, I'm always honored. So, okay, I know you transitioned and you're in your expo, but was there a specialty, like signature style that you really, when you was in the salon, that people could know, like that's Marcina. When you know what I'm saying, like they knew that was your specialty.
Mm-hmm. I perfected the bob. Like I did the bob. I loved a good bob, that braided bob. I knew how to braid it with enough tension. It was going to bend just right and make it look like it was a hairstyle. And I had to be fast because at this point, you know, I got my kids, I've got married, so I needed to be able to braid during the time that my kids were in school. So I'm braiding down and stuff. So I think the signature bob look, now it has, I've kind of perfected the crochet, a very natural looking crochet style that I put a little more effort into, so that, I have people now say, okay, I know you did that crochet style. I know that's your work right there, because it looked more like, okay, it's not looking wiggy. It's not looking lioness. It's looking like, okay, I like that. I like that look, or whatever. But my bob, and I was one of them ones that did micros. I did micros for many years. You can't pay me to do no micros now, but I did those for many years. But I loved it. I love, because when we started our me and my business partner, we started one of the first natural hair braiding salons in Tallahassee, and this was in 2001. Okay. And we both had new babies. The baby that our babies will be 22. My baby will be 22 next month. We started that business when we had just had these babies, and I told her, I said, you know what? I was braiding at home. I no longer wanted to braid at home. I was like, I wanted to be, so after I left Talia and I got certification, I got all this stuff and everything, I'm training, came back to Tallahassee, nobody would hire me to work in their salon as a braider. They said, oh, we don't need a braider. That's just a fad. Could not get a job as a braider in a salon. So I ended up finding one salon that I was able to work in, and they had me in the back, all the way in the back, and I braid. And it was so crazy because, people go there, and I used to work with cosmetologists who would double and triple book. So their clients coming in at 9, like my clients, but my clients leaving out at 3, and they still sitting there because everybody at the shampoo bowl, everybody getting all these services and stuff. So that's when, to me, the salon was taking a bad rap, because people say, oh, I'm in the salon all day and stuff. My braid clients came in, they left out, and the people looking like, where that person came from? What's going on? But it's so crazy. Now some of those same salons will reach out to me to train some of their staff or whatever. But you didn't want me then, but that's okay.
But and this is why I try to tell people that there is still a fight for us. Now, I'm a cosmetologist, but as a cosmetologist, I've been fighting as a provider for a braiding license for years for other cosmetologists and other places like Sally's and all of those stores that were only letting in cosmetologists, was not letting in the braiders because they were not considering them professionals, right? They looked down upon that industry as if it wasn't a professional industry, And so once I became a provider, that was one of the things that was like, no, we teach this, we teach that. I've talked to other cosmetologists and who had said, well, they need to learn this, they need to learn this, they need to learn that. So I started implementing other things that I would learn that I learned as a cosmetologist for the braiders. And then, like I said, this is an off-topic question. Then they took away the braiding license. So all of those years to work to become a professional, to be able to go into lines, to be able to work beside other beauty industry professionals, and now there's no license. And I have my mixed feelings about that, but I would like to really understand because they say it's the Freedom Act, and they made it seem like they were doing, in my mind, they made it seem like they were doing us a favor. But real, I know how many J.C. Penney's wasn't taking braiders until like 2 years ago, before COVID. They started taking braiders. Smart Styles, like you're talking about, corporate salons just begin to accept braiders in their industry. You had Sally's, you had Cosmo Pro, all of these things that for years braiders were excluded out of. They finally begin to let them in, and then we get this Freedom Act that now you have no license. That means you can't go in Cosmo Pro anymore. You can't get a discount in Sally's anymore. You can't work in JCPenney's anymore. So how is that? Because some people don't want to go to work for themselves. Some people do want to go and get a paycheck and go into those things for security very beginning. So that's what helped me as a cosmetologist to go into these corporate places in the beginning. So I built up my, my confidence to go out on my own. Braiders should have had that same thing, but now this Freedom Act, they took away the very thing that qualified them braiders as professionals. Now there's no qualification to set you apart. How do you feel about that? Like, I mean, I know
it's very interesting because I started off as a professional braider. So you're talking about 30 years ago as a professional braider, we didn't have a fit anywhere. You could not learn braiding in cosmetology school. There was not if it was a section, it might've been a chapter that might've touched on a little bit of it, but it was almost like, oh, that's something that y'all do on the front porch. That's just something that y'all do at home in your kitchen. So it was already devalued. Braiding, because of course, when it started off, you had women who had been getting relaxers through the 70s and 80s, and then probably late 80s into the 90s, we had the Jerry curls or whatever. Now they're like, oh, you know what? I don't know. These chemicals kind of harsh. I want to rest my hair, but I don't know what to do. So that's when braiding took off, late 80s, early 90s. We were braiders because we didn't just start off as natural hairstylists. We started, we were braiding. We were braiding to give people a break from the relaxers. So they got the break from the relaxer. So then we created this niche. Well, the industry didn't know how to classify us or what to do. So then I think, because I did come to St. Pete back in 2000 and get a braid license. I did come there, like I said, I want to make sure whatever I'm doing, I'm compliant. I didn't feel that I needed to go to cosmetology school to perform the acts that I was doing as far as the braiding, because if I'm braiding natural hair, if I'm doing, I did a lot of yarn twists and yarn braids, and at that time I wasn't even doing too much of cornrows. Crochet styles. I didn't see the benefit of the 1,600 hours for cosmetology that was going to benefit my area of expertise. Now, there were other states that had certifications for natural hairstylists. And it was like, okay, well, maybe we need to find out, what these states are doing, because the braiding industry started evolving into natural hairstyling. And then you had the locks come about. There were people who had locks, but they may have been doing them on their own. And like the whole lock community evolved probably the late 90s, early 2000s, and okay, that's another part of this industry. We're trying, because I'm sure that's not something else that's taught in cosmetology school. So we're like, okay, you still want me to go to cosmetology school, but the stuff that I do, you're not going to teach me this, but you want to say, oh, you need to spend this money, do these hours, so that now we will consider you professional and relevant to work in, in a salon or in these corporate places, which to me was, it was very unfair. And that's why you'll find a lot of braiders may have stayed at home. That was one of the reasons why we created a salon. And we had, actually, we called it it was Naturally You Art and Braid Studio, because they didn't know how to classify us. Even when and we right up here with the Department of Business and Professional Regulation. So when somebody came out, they were like, so you don't use chemicals? So you don't do this? You don't use that? They didn't know what they were like. Well, okay. Well, because we trust and believe, we read the book. I read the book. I followed everything to the guideline, because they were like, well, you can't add in human hair, and then you can't add in this, but you would allow me to do yarn braids and yarn wraps, so I could do that. But then I realized, okay, that's because now that was something that was offered at, you could get that done at Disney World or at Busch Gardens. And we weren't the ones doing it.
No.
So when other folks started doing it, exactly. So when the other people started to do it, now it's like, oh, well, that's acceptable and stuff. So it really became a battle. And then I'm glad, although Florida still kind of haven't gotten it completely right, there's some states that are jailing braiders for providing a living for themselves. Oh, and that to me is a heartbreak.
I'm from New Jersey. New Jersey. I didn't get into the industry until after I left New Jersey. I didn't even know about it. But New Jersey is still one of those where you have to go to cosmetology school to be a braider. There's no separation. There's no separation.
Okay.
New York, New Jersey, those states are, and which they're supposed to be ahead, but I'm not. You know what I'm saying? They're still behind in some areas. Like, and I think it's just really, they're not listening to the people. These boards are not made up of enough inclusiveness and diversity to really figure out what's really happening. Because like you said, there wasn't anything. And of course, I don't want any braider to go to school for 1,200 hours. Don't make sense because they're not teaching anything. And that's why I began to do the teachings that I've been doing with the youth and everything, even though I didn't start out that way. I went through cosmetology, but I'm like, well, I feel like I got tricked. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, because I'm like, I paid all this money and my heart really always been into natural hair care, but that was the only way I knew to go. And so now I'm creating a team for other people so they don't have to go away. But I feel like even though they gave them that Freedom Act, meaning they could go and work at shops, they're only going to be able to go and work at shops that are not worrying about them having a license. Then you still excluded that in from those corporations that require it. So even though they had only 16 hours of coursework to get a license, at least they had something that said they were able to do these things. So it's one of those catch-22 type things,
Right. It is.
So, they don't make it, the system ain't made for us anyway. So anytime they try to tell us they're giving us something, I need you to, did you ask me my opinion on what I needed? That's my question.
Right.
Because you don't know what's for me or for us unless you actually talk to us. Don't think you know what's right for us. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'll go into a tangent about, I'll go into a tangent.
Trust me, I understand.
So you've been doing hair for a very long time, and it's been years. Do you remember that first time? You remember that first experience on your first client? Were you afraid? Were you nervous? What hairstyle was it? I know I'm taking you way back, but
I'm trying to think. Shoot. Now one of my first clients, I remember, it was a little girl when I was at school. This guy he used to cook in the orange room. It was like a little calf or whatever. So I would go there, and it was a little girl. She was about probably like 5 years old, and I say, and Dad was Puerto Rican, and I could tell. I was like, okay, either this not your child because she was Black or whatever. But I was like, do you mind if I braid her hair? And he said, oh, no problem. So I braided her hair up. I think he got in trouble later on that day because she was like, look, I don't know what woman you had doing my child hair, but I ended up meeting her, and we became really good friends. That little girl is now a doctor. I think she is, if she's not she's in her late 30s now, but she was one of the first clients that I got in Tallahassee. And then you got to remember too, I was a single mother. I had 3 kids at the time. So my prices were based on what bill was due, what I needed to take care of and everything. So if I'm okay, my light bill 65. All right, this Bob $65. Okay, my phone bill, okay, it's 85. Okay, these micros, $85. And that's how, it started off like that. But the first time I had work published in a national publication really kind of did it for me. I used to be in hype hair and Sophisticates braids. I've had, work published there. So that really was like, especially when somebody from another state called me, it's like, hey, it was a picture of me. And it actually, there was a picture from one of Talia's classes in Sophisticates. It was in her advertisement. So in all these magazines, I was on the back page, all happy because I did a goddess braid that she taught me. And so I had friends from college like, hey, I see you in this magazine. Like, I said, you like, what magazine? So I went out and bought all these magazines, and I'm calling because I didn't have cell phones and stuff then, and no internet and all that other stuff. So I'm calling people, I'm mailing them. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in the magazine and stuff. So I think that was so cool or whatever. And just to see it come full circle. So in our industry, there's the Natural Hair Industry Convention, and your colleagues first of all, you have to be in the industry over 15 years. You've had to have made an impact, done certain things or whatever, to even be considered a master pioneer. So 2019, I got nominated to be a master pioneer from a young lady that I had only met 1 or 2 times. And she had submitted my information and everything. And I got nominated by my colleagues for this award. But what I think was so amazing to me, like Talia got the award 2 years before. So here, this woman that I look to, because she started the first, natural hair expo. She has the largest one now. I aspire to get to where she is. She has over 50,000 attendees, 300 exhibitors, all kind of stuff. It's a whole weekend production. But, I like, if I could just be just a 10th of that, I'm excited or whatever. But I saw what she created.
That's why I think I keep telling you in Atlanta. I don't know. That's why I think that's what that is.
Right, and she's created a multi-million-dollar business in this industry. She created the products. She started off as a braider. She had multiple salons, and she created, the expo and classes. So she understood that there was knowledge in sharing, there was, profits in sharing your knowledge and putting it out. She had a DVD collection. Actually, it was a VHS collection. I still have the VHS collection from her classes that I took in '94. And she's invited me back. I went and taught back at her expo several times and everything. And even some of my other colleagues that are in the industry, everybody over 30 years, we really look to each other, and we've seen the change and evolution in this. And, Matt, when I see some of the work that some of these young ladies are putting out, I'm just like, man, this is talent on a whole nother level. Like, they take what we might have thought about and just ran with it. So so when I see that, just some of my work, and I have pictures of work that I did in the early 2000s. Those are some of the same styles that are just coming back out now.
Wow. So you're talking about hype hair. I remember those magazines. Mm-hmm. Hype hair. I remember, like it wasn't, you had, every salon had to have a bunch of magazines in there.
Right. Exactly.
Different pictures off of the internet. We evolved so much.
Right.
And then COVID happened, and we had to get rid of all the magazines. Nothing could be in the shop as far as. And so, I have my Beauty on the Bay magazine, but you said so you told me that they took and published your work without letting you know. You know, I would get in trouble. I would get in trouble right now if I took and public, like if I go back to doing my magazine, which I'm planning on in 2023, and just took your work and put it in my magazine and didn't call you and let you know, didn't pay, we get in trouble. So they was able to do that type of stuff back in the day. Say, okay, I mean, and it was an honor. But what we not understanding is that's an honor. Somebody showing your work. Now we'll be saying, oh, they stole my work. Understanding that means that at you from another state.
Right. Exactly.
The times have changed so much.
It has.
Like, cause I'm just thinking to myself, like, what would that, if I started taking people's stuff and putting it in my magazine, people be trying to sue me.
Yes.
Talk about infringement on their pictures and all types of stuff.
Trust me, I had to put, now with having the expo and having models and everything, I have to put a clause in everything that your image, your likeness, your voice, your record is something. I have, rights to that. And some people don't understand that. They're like, oh, why am I on your flyer? Or why are you using me? I'm like, you were a model. You signed a model release, so we got to cover ourselves. That's new age.
It's a shame because, I mean, I'm thinking we should be honored that other people want to use us in that capacity. We're so in competition or so. It's just a mixed up world right now.
Right. It is.
That world. And I get some things, but some things it's really jealousy and envy. That's really at the baseline of it, it's jealousy and envy. You just didn't think about it, so now you mad that I thought about it and I put it out there first. That's all that really be. That's really what it be. I don't know. So we talked about COVID-19. You've been in the industry. I'm quite sure you had to pivot a lot from 40 years ago. But with COVID-19, how did you have to pivot? What were some of the things that you had to do, or maybe you were already doing, but now you honed in on it a little bit more once that happened? How did that change your mindset for the industry moving forward?
Well, one of the biggest things that I did, because I had moved back to St. Pete and I was there for a while. So right before COVID, I moved back to Tallahassee probably the year before COVID happened. So I was like, I don't know if I want to open a salon again. I don't know if that's the direction I want to go. I still want to do hair. So I decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to create a VIP clientele. So I did mobile services because I know for me, women of a certain age, just like people got church hurt, people got salon hurt. Oh, I don't want to go back to the salon no more. It's this and that. So I was catering to that person who was like, I don't want to go in the salon, but I want these services. People were working from home. They might have had small children or grandchildren or older parents. So that was my new niche clientele. They were busy. They didn't have time to do the salon or whatever. They're like, okay, I pay. You come to me, and they want the service. They just didn't want all the chit chat that was going on in the salons. And a lot of salons, to me, had started getting a little messy. That's why the salon suites seem like that's a great niche to be in, because people don't want everybody knowing their business. I don't want everybody to know all my hair gray or I'm losing it in the top. I don't want people to know that. So I want the privacy. I want the professionalism. I want the privacy. So I'm giving you the best of both worlds. I'm going to give you professional privacy in your home. So I started that like in 2019. So when COVID happened, it was like, okay. So I would, right. Because my clients are like, okay, well, I still need, because I still got to get on this Zoom. I still got to, I got to look good, because my clients were essential workers. They still, had to provide a service or whatever. So they still needed to look good. So I was still able to do that. But in that time, I started another business where, because of course now, the government giving out money, independent contractors. I was able to get unemployment. I ain't never got unemployment ever in my life. So was able to get unemployment, and now they got the PPP and all this other stuff. Well, what COVID did was expose a lot of us independent contractors that we didn't have real businesses, that we were not set up properly, that we were not, we didn't have our foundation. We was just out here just willy-nilly it. We didn't even have business accounts. So I started working with people, trying to get them the money. And then I realized it's a lot of money out here that, people giving out, government giving out. And if you don't have your stuff structured properly, you won't get access to this. And, and then you talk to people who supposedly business owners, and they're like, I need a business account. Well, I needed an LLC. I should have did this. I should have did that. I'm like, well, what you been doing for 15 years, 10 years? You got an expensive hobby is what you got.
Listen, expensive hobby.
Correct.
I was trying to transition. I got stuck. I got stuck right there. But it's so true. I didn't realize until that happened how many people who I actually looked up to. When I say I looked up to, I realized that I was doing better than them when it came to business structure. Like you said, they had expensive hobbies. I know someone who literally missed out on the grant that they was given for Pinellas. $5,000 grant because they didn't have a $50 business city. The license you get from the city is like $50.
The occupation license.
The occupational license. So you don't have an occupational license. That occupational license only costs $50. $50 kept you from $5,000. But exactly. You've been doing this for 12 years. I was like, it really opened my eyes to how many people, like I said, that I was really looking up to. They look good, but if it's almost like a nice car and you open up the hood and that engine is jacked up.
So they got duct tape all over the car.
And that's exactly what they had with their business. Like you said, business license, no business. How you been doing here? How you been in any industry for 10 years and you don't got a business account? How? I mean, the one thing that messed me up, now what I did learn as a serial entrepreneur, COVID taught me that all of those entities were supposed to be separate. Oh, I was so upset about that. You had major corporations that had several legs getting the money 10 times because they literally had different EIN numbers and accounts for their businesses. And I had ran all my stuff under one umbrella, and I didn't realize that I had an enterprise. So now I'm like, no, I have an enterprise. I don't have a business. I have an enterprise, and it's a difference. And so COVID definitely taught me that. I was like, I was supposed to get that 10,000 at least five times. So that's where I really beat myself up at. But it's okay. Everything is split up now. I guess. Or tell me nothing. Oh, you got too many bank accounts. No, I don't. No, I don't. Because if it come through here again, something like that here, which each EIN number for everything in business. So I learned about that. Yes. So I know you've been doing this 2 decades. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Are you retired? What is retirement? What does retirement look like to you?
Well, that's funny because I've been watching a lot of podcasts and watching different different people. I'm dabbling in a lot more stuff. I'm doing real estate investing now. So retire. I will probably never retire from hair because I love it so much. Either I will be fit, and I have 4 adult daughters who think I'm their stylist on call anyway. So I will always be doing some form of hair. I will not probably ever retire from that, but my goal is to, hopefully be able to continue to motivate, to continue to inspire those in the industry. When I'm, meet young people, and I will share whatever I have, whatever it is, whatever information. When people used to call the salon and they'll say, hey, I saw this style that you did. What hair did you use? I'm that stylist that I'm gonna tell you what hair I use, how many packs, which store I got it from, or whatever. Because I used to tell people all the time, you can't beat me being me. So I'll never get upset about somebody asking me, well, how did you do this? Or how did you create that? So I think that is the evolution of kind of coming from, behind the chair kind of thing and creating. We may have to collaborate on a natural hair care institute that the state of Florida is, we've created something because we know the natural hair industry is not going anywhere.
Right.
There's not a space where it's being probably properly taught. And I think that now, because if you have a company now saying that relaxers may have caused cancer or fibroids in women and stuff, okay, so don't you think it may have also caused some severe hair loss? It may have also caused other issues with the scalp and stuff. So that's all just coming to fruition now. So that's something that we need to start discussing. We need to start talking about these women that in the 70s and 80s was getting these relaxers, because most people started getting a relaxer at 12, 13 years old. Yep. And then you got it until you just said, okay, I don't think I want to do this anymore. My scalp is tender. I don't like the smell of this or whatever. But we did it because we didn't know any better. Somebody told us straight hair was the definition of beauty, and that was the only way we was going to be looked at as professional or beautiful, or whatever adjective they wanted to give to it. And so, because before then we was wearing our afros, we was wearing our natural hair, we loved it until the powers that be said, oh, that don't look good. That's unacceptable. So now we got to take that power back. And now, since everybody want to be, they want to diversify, you want to show inclusiveness, it's time to create that natural hair care industry, that natural hair care institute that's going to train up this generation of people to say, okay, these are some of the things you need to be looking for, because that lady who is 40, 50 years old wore locks for 12, 15 years. Now the whole center of her crown is gone because the weight of the locks has pulled the hair out, and now those follicles are damaged and they're not going to grow back. So, we got all kind of challenges that, a lot of it was kind of forced onto us. And the industry hasn't pivoted with that. I don't see where, I've had cosmetology schools reach out to me to come in and you want me to teach a little part of the curriculum, but I still think there needs to be a whole institute dedicated to our industry. And that could be the next thing.
That's what I've been doing. I'm working with Florida Department of Education. I'm trying to get them straight out. It's one thing as well, when it comes down to the schools, you got so many different ways where, okay, do I go completely private? And some people are able to pay. And then you also need to be able to have some entity where they're able to get funding. You know what I'm saying? All these things that I've been actually going through back and forth with them as I've been putting this together. And we're back to now looking at it from a high school perspective to get them in, because I'm my love is for the students. I have the love. I don't people but you know, it gets
Mhm.
in the ways. You know what I'm saying? And so
Right, right,
something about those youth that does something for me.
right.
So kind of went back full circle. And now going back to like, okay, this is where my heart is at. This is where, so they come in from a private school perspective, and then they can actually do their academia. And then already we catch them early and teach them this, teach them essentials of hair. Everything that I learned as a cosmetologist, like I've now found the books that they have in it years ago. The natural, my ladies has a natural hair care book. I never seen it in a cosmetology, but that's the book I train out of. I train students out of. And so it's all of these things that, like you said, it needs to be done. And the systems are not set up for you to really try to maneuver it. So you got to find, just like I have my for-profit, but I realized I also needed a nonprofit, because if I go here, then only a certain amount of people can subscribe, but then go here. So that's where I'm at with it, is like, well, I wanted to do this, but then I'm missing a whole group of people who cannot afford out of pocket.
Right.
So now I got to find ways for me to get them, because it's more of them who can afford that actually classes than those that really can afford. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And everything, because a lot of those that can afford are the more creative. I'm sorry. We just something about poverty that makes you more creative.
You in survival mode. When you in survival mode, first of all, I tell anybody, a skill gonna pay bills. I don't care what's going on, a skill will pay bills. And when you're in survival mode, I was that single mom, and I told you I was welfare, food stamps, car repossessed. Me and my son were homeless for a while, so we were sleeping in the car. So when you got those adversities against you, you're gonna figure out a way. Okay, how can I make this change? How can I make this difference? And I was like, okay, I can braid this hair. I can, okay, if I do, I was like, if I'm doing about $65 a day, $65 a day, 5-6 days a week, we talking a few $100s a week. What job you was?
It's more than tennis.
Okay, exactly. So and it's tax free, because I had to learn the hard way, because my kids grew up, and I was always it was a cash business for many years. I made cash business, so my kids was like, "Ma, you got money like a drug dealer, because you just got all this cash." And I said, but I ain't got to look over my shoulder like no drug dealer and stuff. But until I went to go buy my first house, I didn't have no stated income. So it wasn't until I wanted to buy a house, because I had been in an apartment. I said, you know what? I don't want to be in an apartment no more. I want to buy a house. Bought my first house in 2000. And I was like, I felt like that was going to pivot my life now or whatever. And they were like, you ain't got no income. I was like, yes, I do. I'm making some money. They were like, you ain't paying no taxes. So I'm like, okay, I got to go backwards. And that's when I started learning, I got me an accountant, and
you went out. You hit mute.
We make
okay.
We made the salon. I'm sorry. We actually incorporated the salon, and we didn't know anything. It took a white guy to us. He had a computer business. He said, "What made y'all, incorporate or whatever?" And we was like, because this is a business and we're going to treat it as a business. He was like, oh, okay. That was really smart. That was really smart of you ladies to incorporate your business like that and everything. But nobody, as a salon owner, as a stylist, there was no blueprint on how to start, where you getting funding from, how do you get this? We funded everything out of pocket. Honey, we our bills was based on how the hair that we did. So we split everything. So our rent at the time probably was $400, and we had advertising bills, our little stuff. And it don't take much, to braid hair. You needed a comb, some oil or something. We was real like minimal. So every week we were like, okay, we just split the costs. And that's how we were able to build until we had probably a staff of 8 to 10, people, and we're all making money to where we're like, oh, okay, now we can, build from that. But we didn't know anything. I mean, how often does one salon owner call another one? It's like, how did you start? And they were like, I just started. I found a place that I could afford. I got in there. And then it's like, you had to, you call around to the city, because some people, they were like, I don't know what you need. Because unfortunately, that person didn't know they needed the occupation license. Because if you go to the city site, they're like, oh, if you want to open a business, this is what you need to do. But it's like, okay, well, I want to open a salon. But they're like, okay, well, because, you don't have to have a cosmetology license to open a salon.
Yeah.
You can, as long as you do the licensing and you do this, that, and the other, you can open up a salon. Now, them people who working for you, they need to make sure that they have their licenses, whatever. But there was no blueprint. There was nothing. And we were just like, we were just winging it. So that's how I ended up calling Talia before I even went to her class, like, hey, I know you got you got the salons up there, how y'all doing it? And she talked to me. She shared, information. She's like, yeah, cause I'm like, how much y'all making? What you, man, 30,000. I was like, I would like to make 30,000 a month, and, you just, I'm fortunate enough in this industry, I found people who, gravitated towards me, shared information. Now I have had people that I found out later, because I'm such a genuine person. I'm going to share and give you stuff that I found later, took that to, and try to be malicious, and it's unfortunate when you come across those people that don't understand that we don't have to compete. I'm not in competition with you, sis. I want you to grow. I want you to win. I want everybody in my circle to win. Everybody connected to me to win. So I'm not going to, do anything that's going to hinder what you're trying to do. We can all win. But I had to learn, I had some, business partners that didn't do me right. And I'm like, okay, you know what? It's all good. Because when I say God has blessed me to be in such an amazing place right now, I have control over my time, control over my schedule. When my financial freedom and my time freedom finally align, oh, honey, when you say amazing, amazing.
Listen, I think about, I just hit where you was at when I went to go buy my house. And I'm like, same thing happened. It was, you're not paying yourself. You know, and I started paying myself before then, and I had it all set up. But of course, I did the expansion. So when I did the expansion, my mind went back to default. You go back into default.
Right.
I'm back in survival mode. And I went into the expansion, and I went into survival mode, and I forgot. And so now I'm sitting here again thinking, you're like, oh, I'm winning. And they like, you don't have no paperwork that say you winning nothing. You know you look good on social media.
Right.
But as far as your paperwork, it's not in order. It's not reflecting. Yeah, you paying the bills. We can see what you're paying. We know that. Obviously, if you're there, you're paying this, but it's not reflecting.
Right.
And this is why we are doing the connections and the mentoring and all of those type of things, because people need to know in our industry, yeah, you could be all of this, but on paper, when they look at your assets, that tells a whole nother, you know what I'm saying? That tells, what are you really winning?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That organizational budget will make you, what? It'll make you look at that twice. You like, oh, I really ain't making no money. They making money, but I'm not making money. If you are really paying your bills. Now, some of y'all ain't doing all that. Some of y'all you still going shopping and on vacations, and your credit card bill, you paying the minimum on there, and you think you making money. But when you the pen to the paper, you'll be able to say where you're really at, and that makes a difference. Funding, grants, all types of stuff, and it's nothing to play with. But I got my rude awakening, and I wound up thinking, oh, I was gonna buy my house last year, and I had to go back into my apartment, and it was like, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna have to get this, especially with the prices raising
Right.
crazy. So we need to aspire to be homeowners, and the only way we do it is really putting that pen to that paper and doing it correctly. Unless you got 200 grand in cash to give to a house, then once you purchase it, IRS gonna be on you. So at the end of the day, you better do it the right way, because there is a thing called tax evasion.
Right. And I would not advise anybody to take their 200,000 and put it all into a mortgage, because for whatever reason we were taught that debt free was the place to be. Oh, debt free. How you gonna be debt free and cash poor? Now what can you get? Now what can you do? Because guess what? If something happened, the first thing you're gonna do is default to them old ways. You're gonna grab that credit card because you got an emergency.
Oh God. Okay, you back.
Sorry. But you're gonna use all of your cash because you're like, oh, I don't want to owe nobody. And I was like, the worst thing our older generation did to us was not let us know that, you know, they wanted us to believe that you're not supposed to owe nobody. All debt is bad, and you just pay out of pocket, you don't owe nobody. And I get where that came from. I get, you know, sharecroppers and Jim Crow, and, you know, because that was the generation that, you know, raised our parents or whatever. So our parents are like, oh no, you get a credit card, you just for gas and this, that, and the other. So that's all we knew. We didn't know nothing about no business credit. We didn't know how to set yourself up for funding or anything. And now we're just getting there. We've been behind the 8 ball, because I'm like, okay, I thought it was something, accomplishment to pay out of pocket to purchase this and purchase that. Now I ain't got no money, but I'm like, oh yeah, this my salon, this my this. And I try to tell business owners, like, there's no finish line with being a business owner. You either want to scale up, or you're gonna be done, because you're not doing anything to grow that business. And if you're paying everything out of pocket, you limited. Yeah, you're gonna be done. And then now your pocket's dry, and you sitting there like, okay, now what? You have no movement, nowhere to go. So you need some good debt, which is that business credit, business funding, business loans, or whatever. And we already know it's hard to get a business loan. It's hard to get some money about some folks, but you got to put yourself in a position and structure your business properly in order to get that. And then you can scale and do some stuff. You got that 200,000, okay, put 50,000 on that home or whatever. You take the other 150,000 and you're gonna make some money off of that.
Mm-hmm. Come on,
you know, and then you can go, then you can, you know, you can get that mortgage or whatever. You're gonna get you a 30-year mortgage. You can pay that off in 5 to 15 years if you do it properly. You know, now you done took that other 150,000, and when your mindset, because you mentioned about the mindset when we first started talking, you know, plenty of people could make 6-7 figures, but if you got a broke mindset, you're gonna default back to your broke ways. Come on. When you go back to your broke ways, that 6 figures, that 7 figure, it's not gonna matter, because you still making them broke way mindset stuff. You're still doing it and stuff. So
the Bible say, a fool and his money will soon
part. Yes, ma'am.
Because money is not faithful. Money is not faithful. It's not loyal. It likes to be in everybody's hand. Whoever hand it want to go to, is gonna go to.
It's a currency. What does a current do? What is a current? Current flows.
It keep moves. You trying to hold on to it. That thing ain't loyal. It ain't loyal.
It is not
loyal. So you got to be able to continue to attract money. And that's why I try to say wealthy mindset. A wealthy mindset knows that I attract money. I don't work for money. Money works for me. And if I know it to be a currency, I know that I have to exchange it for something else. And I got to keep the exchange going. If you want to be a pimp, learn how to pimp some money. Pimp some money, baby.
Yeah, put it in my pocket. That's a pimp. Put it in my pocket.
And so, listen, I know you are busy and everything. What advice? I know you done gave so many. Oh my God, you done gave. But what is the biggest nugget that you want to give to the next gen that is starting off or in this industry? what is the biggest gem? I know you got so many because you got so many years, but what would be that one piece of advice that you would give to someone that is aspiring to come in this field?
I would tell them, find somebody in the industry that they may look up to, in business, or they may have a technique or a skill or whatever. There's nothing wrong with reaching out to someone, paying for their time, paying for mentorship or whatever, because you're going to pay one way or other. If I get a chance to sit down with, before I talk to you, I had a Zoom with a multimillionaire this morning for our investment group. This man was dropping nuggets and all kind of stuff. When I tell you, I couldn't have paid for a better conversation with someone, because he's going to prevent us from making costly mistakes down the line. So it's worth it to talk to somebody who's already done what you're trying to do, who's already wrote the blueprint. They already know how the wheel work. So why you trying to say, oh, well, why the wheel got to be round? I want a square wheel. I want to, like, they already know this round wheel. It worked good. I'm already going. I already got things going. So get on this round wheel and I can show you how to get there. But, I would tell that next generation, find those people that can pour into you, that are going to be beneficial or whatever. You may be the best braider out there. You may be the best loctician. You may be the best natural hairstylist, whatever. And y'all got social media that you're able to draw to. We didn't have that,
Right.
so you can do so much with it, but believe in yourself, believe in your craft. When I started, I had my daughters, I would do their hair. We'll go out. I used to have to hand out flyers. I had back to school special, holiday special, summer school special, this, that, and the other. And I was a walking billboard, of my work and myself, and, put it out there, whatever, to where, people's like, I can't wait to get into your chair. I feel like I'll be honored to come and get my hair done. I see people online talking about, man, they tripping. They want to charge. They don't even want to shampoo your hair. Don't want to blow dry your hair. Don't want to do this. Now I got to bring my own hair and everything and stuff. I'm like, my clients are so spoiled, and they are so like, okay, most of my clients have never been in a beauty supply store, because I go get their hair. That way, that eliminate a whole lot of, I can't work with that. That's the wrong color. That's not even gonna do what I think it's gonna do. So you show, I do a consultation. That's first and foremost. I need to know if we're on the same page. Are we going to align? Let me see if our spirit's going to match up, because I believe in the transference of energy. So if our spirits ain't finna be aligned, I'm not the stylist for you. I think you better be suited for somebody else, because all money ain't good money. And I don't need that currency flowing over here with that negativity. And you can tell usually from a phone call if somebody finna be a problem.
Yes, you can.
Oh, honey. Oh, yeah. The last girl who did my hair, she this, that, and the other. Da, da, da. Okay. When you start off our consultation about how bad somebody else did, that lets me know you've been chair hopping. I don't like a chair hopper. You're all over the place. So I think for the next generation, everybody will go to social media. You want to blast somebody out. You all mad and upset. But we are a service provider industry. I tell people all the time, I'm a luxury brand. Because this ain't, everybody don't have to get braids or crochet or whatever. This is a luxury. This like adding on, a sports package or something. This ain't your basic, service or whatever. So with that, provide that professionalism, provide that customer service that'll set you apart, to where people will be like, oh, okay. Because I never want it to ever be, oh, she's just a braider.
Right.
Oh, she just do braids, or she just work at home or whatever. Honey, I had home, was the best home business. It was I wasn't stopping for no smoke break. I don't smoke, but I heard about that. I ain't have to stop to cook dinner or feed my kids or run this, that, and the other, whatever. I'm starting the job. I'm getting the job done and providing that professionalism. And I think you value yourself, you will value the job that you provide, whatever the service is. And you can monetize on that. There's so many ways to monetize it now. Hell, y'all could do reels and probably not even do nobody real hair and just do some reels and make some money just because people are like, oh, I like what that looked like. And but I see these people becoming influencers, and I'm like, well, who they influencing and what they influencing about? But you know, it's a different generation. But that's what I would say. Be true to yourself and know your worth and value, and set your prices according to your skill level and your professionalism. That's what they need to be. But you know, and look at the market and just be mindful of, you know, what it is that you're wanting to do, and seek out that mentorship.
Yeah, I mean, you said so many things that, you know, the next gen and even those that have been in the industry now could take away. First and foremost, you're never too old to be mentored. There's always else for you to learn. And I'm what I don't like in our Black and brown communities is, well, why do I have to pay? But guess what? You ain't gonna go over to the other culture and think that they just gonna give you something for free. So why do we have to do that? Why do you want to keep buying me lunch when if you pay me, I can buy my own lunch? I want to buy my own lunch. I want to take
right,
you know
right.
Because you might not like what I like. Now it'd be messed up if you say, well, I want to take you to lunch and I go take you over to Charlie V's. Well, that's the lunch I want then. You know what I'm saying? that bill came in at $200, but well, you could have just paid me.
Right.
Because if you want to take me to lunch, I'm gonna take you to. You're not gonna take me to Dunkin' Donuts. I don't like Dunkin' Donuts. You know what I'm saying? I want to go over here. This is where I eat. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So
you're not even gonna be able to afford the lunch that I want. So how about just pay me up front and then not try to figure out what I like to eat? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or take me where you want to eat, because that ain't it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the one thing. The second thing was, you know, that customer service, that consultation, that professionalism, the industry. That's why people don't want to go in the shop. That is the main reason that people don't. You could be the best at what you do, but the moment, and listen, they will pay you in the beginning and come to you. But the moment they find somebody that can do it like you and is going to be professional, going to be courteous, they are going to leave you because of the skill. What they say, your talent will take you to places your character can't keep you at. And that what they.
Yes, ma'am.
You got the talent. Allen Iverson had the talent, but he didn't have the character to stay in the position. And so you can have that talent. There's so many more talented people than me. I came in this industry from up north. I knew nothing about this industry. My friends still are amazed that, like, how did you get in that industry? Like, that don't even make sense. But character, the integrity, the work ethic, those things is what put me in a place that was foreign. And I know more people connected to more people, get along with more people because of those things. That talent, me just braiding hair or doing hair, that didn't open those doors. It was because of my integrity, my character, and all of those things, how I dealt with people is why people wanted to connect with me. So 2023, we put up those classes for customer service, consultations, conflict resolution. You can't curse out. Listen, it's many times I want to. As many times I'm from up. Listen, I ain't scared of nobody. I understand, I ain't scared of nobody, but I don't want them cuffs on me. I am scared of I don't want no cuffs on me. I done had them on me before, so I don't need to relive that. So there's a way to resolve the conflict, and we have to teach that too.
Right.
Even some of these older ones that just out of pocket, you like, and you wonder why the younger ones are cursing you out. Look how you acting.
Right.
You ain't set up. No, why would they respect you when you are just all over the place? So we just got to do better for that. Now, in all of the years, are you doing any self-care I'm learning to do, take the days off, meditation, facials, all of these things that I'm beginning to implement. What is your self-care regimen? Do you have a self-care thing now in place, considering you got decades? I'm quite sure times when you didn't have those in place, but I'm learning so much from different people that are doing their self-care practices that I'm like, oh, I can start implementing these things as well. So yeah, for what are some of the things that you do?
Self-care for me, I had to learn it because for many years I did not have it. I would work and realize that we could be on our deathbed and we still get so you're not gonna be able to do my hair? So you can't come in. I'm like, I just told you, if I got a sick child, if I got this, and I said, you know what? These people don't care about me. It's like, as long as I'm of value or assistance to you, everything is good. So I said, okay. So over the years, now that all we have an empty nest. So honey, self-care is just, I could be home through the day and enjoy my time. I love being, I love to shop. So I go visit the mall. Like, that was like, now during COVID, that hurt my heart because I was like, the mall closed. Oh, I can't visit my best friends. Dillis is my best friend, and we have a relationship, and we wasn't able to be together, So I do that. Every now and then I will do, a manicure. I do get up in the morning and I can, gather myself. Me and God, we talk, because I got to talk to God just like I'm talking to you, because there's so much I'm trying to do, and I'm like, okay, God, look, this what we doing. This how I need to prepare myself, because I know this mouth here can be real slick. And like you said, because I think in all of these years, it was only one person that really took me there. And honey, when you start saying, baby, it ain't number space and opportunity, what we gonna do? I was like, okay, I got to reel it back in. And, I'm like, all right, because, the bird, we could get real rowdy with you and stuff. But my self-care is really, I love to, to love on my family and, share time with them or whatever. But for me, a long time is good. I think I try to journal. I don't usually get to write a lot of stuff down, but in my mind, I'm journaling. But honey, a good day of ratchet TV is like bliss. I can lay on the sofa and watch a good old dose of ratchet TV and be in hog heaven, just laughing and looking at the foolishness or whatever. So, but that's where I find my peace.
So we're about to close out. I know you have a show coming up. I know you have an expo coming up. Please tell the people, yes, about this expo. Because I've been witnessing this expo for the last couple of years from the beginning. I just love it. It keeps evolving. It keeps growing. Oh my God. So tell the people about this expo, how they can get some tickets, how they can get some vendors, how they can sponsor, all that type of stuff, because we got some stuff going on and we need some funding, and not that we need it, but you know what I'm saying, because if you don't do it, somebody won't do it. So come on. Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? The Natural Experience. It is the 10th annual Natural Hair, Health, and Beauty Expo. It will be Sunday, March 19th. I'm thinking about adding on another hour because I had a few, a little bit of backlash, like, oh, it's only 6 hours, and we want it to be a little longer. So I'm considering it or whatever. But this year, man, look, the vendors that are coming. I had a lady call me the other day. She said, oh, I'm coming from Minneapolis. Which airport should I fly into? This lady already paid her vendor fee. She don't even know like where St. Pete is in Florida, but she's like, I want to be there. So we have vendors coming from all over the country. The products that are going to be here are going to be amazing. This year we weren't doing the breakout sessions, so we were only doing main stage presentations. So I have a few people that are going to be coming to the stage with some good gems on natural hair care, and a couple other things. I think plant-based eating, because we got the healthy lifestyle. We will have a Zumba demonstration. This year, I'm adding a men's talk, is Black Men Talk.
Okay.
I really feel like mental health is really plaguing our Black men. And I have a Black male child. Well, he's 33. And my Black son, has, talked to me and said, Mommy, I'm really dealing with, it's difficult being a Black man today. So I
Right.
decided to add in a panel discussion with Black men. It's going to be moderated by a Black man, all Black men on the panel, talking about the challenges it is being a Black man today, and to normalize therapy.
Come on.
Because we came from an era of, oh, just pray. Okay, everybody don't know how to pray. And then they don't know how to listen to the word of God. Because if you can't hear God, what you finna pray by? What you gonna do with the prayer?
And,
So
and you might pray, but if you're not able to hear him answer your prayer, you still don't got a solution.
correct. Yes. So I wanted to incorporate that because I know our Black men are really dealing with some stuff. So we have that. Adding in a men's suite. So I think we may have like some a little cigar lounge outside for the men, because they want to come and support us, and they always feel like, well, I don't want to go to that or whatever. But the hair and fashion show, I think, will be amazing. I had a young lady contact me. She's doing New York Fashion Week, and she said, I would love to come and design your, a line for your models. Okay, we can. She's like, I just want to be a part. So when you keep coming across people say, how can I be of assistance to you? How can I be a part? Because every now and then it gets a little like, okay, should I do this? Can I do this? It gets to be a daunting task. But when I come across those spirits that just say, I want to be a part. This is so amazing. I love what you're doing. How can I assist you? I'm like, I must be doing something right. I'm connecting to the right people. I'm getting into the right places. The right doors are opening. So I'm excited about it. Anybody who's interested in being a vendor, a sponsor, want to get a ticket, you can go to the website, www.thenaturalexperience.org. All the information is there. If you want to contact me about being a presenter, you want to be a model, everybody want to be a model. But if you want to be a model, if you want to be a stylist to assist with the models, you can email me. That's Marcina, Marcina, at thenaturalexperience.org. And then that way, send me an email. Let me know, like, hey, I want to be a part, and I'll see where we can, get you in. And we are just so excited. I'm still trying to get a few little things worked out. So when I get into 2023, I'm coming out, I'm kicking doors in and taking names, because we trying to put this on a whole nother level as far as experiences. I don't know if you were here back in the day when we used to have Ebony Fashion Fair. Like, that's something we look forward to every year, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. And so, having the hair and fashion show as a part of the expo, to me, was like, okay, I might not be Ebony Fashion Fair, but I'm gonna throw this on back up in there or whatever. So
how I entered in the beauty industry, I came down here for fashion. I went to design school.
Okay.
So like, that's why, to me, it all goes together. You match your hair based on your outfit, or your outfit based on your hair, your makeup based on your outfit and your hair, your shoes based on, you can't have one without the other, So when I went to school for fashion, I realized I didn't like to sew. I didn't know how to sew on the machine. So I knew how to sew, and I still hand sew hair. And I've still struggled with learning how to, I want to make wigs on the machine, but I went back to that, like, oh, dang, we back to this machine thing again. Like, that was the thing. But how I got in was in that fashion industry. Someone told me, well, you should be a personal stylist. I was like, well, that sounds great. So how do I do that? And it was like, well, you got the background in fashion. I could put together outfits. I do all that stuff. I just didn't like the machine. And then you just do hair, and then you find people. That's seem like it was, yeah, whatever. But anyhow, I wound up over here, and then I just kind of got, I feel like it's like, well, I've been in the beauty industry in the cosmetic, it's been so big and so good to me that I haven't really ventured off back out. Well, but God always bring everything full circle. So what you are doing is it all goes together. And so I'm, like I said, I'm just so honored. And I always tell you, like, because I got so many aspects of me and I don't like to always just be in one area. So basically, you know me, you know what I do. I'm here for you. Whatever you need for me to do, whether it's go get you some water. See, that's what people don't understand. Like, y'all think y'all too big to serve somebody. But no, I'm not too big for that, and I'm not too busy. So if it's just, you know what, come and make sure my stuff is zipped up, or whatever it is that you need. If you need me at the door, you know what I'm saying? I am not too proud to be used. I still sweep floors, y'all. I go to events, I still sweep floors. Like, I don't have to be in the front of everything. I'm realizing as I get older, that's not who I'm so much more than that. So if you, whatever you need, do you understand?
Yes, sis.
Yes. I ain't put it on. I'm telling you face to face. Y'all hear? Whatever this queen needs, I am here for it. So you just tell me where you want me at.
And okay, I got you.
Yeah. Okay. So again, we are closing out. Let the people know again how they connect with you. Where's your salon? I know we out here, but this is the metaverse. So we don't know who's listening. People who take flights and they go to wherever they want to go. So let them know how they can connect with you, how they can reach you, all those type of things.
Well, they definitely can connect with me on social media. You can find me on Instagram is loving_my_hair. On my email, Marcina at thenaturalexperience.org. You want to call me, is 850-212-5712. Had the same number over 20 years. I don't change my number. I will block you though. But I am, I do respond to messages. You hit me up on Facebook. I think it's the Natural Hair Health and Beauty Expo page, my Loving My Hair page. You can find me, Marcina Dowdell Pride, on Facebook as well. Hit me up. You have any questions? You have any concerns? You want to be a part? You don't want to be a part? You want to get a ticket? Just anything. If you got questions about the industry, or you are looking for a mentor or somebody that can, provide you with some additional information, you are more than welcome to, reach out to me. I try to do as much as I can, with information, what's available to me. If I can't do it, I can connect you to some people who can do it for you.
Absolutely. Well, I am big on time, and I know you have many things that you get to. I thank you so much. It's been an honor to sit at your feet today and really glean from
thank you, Queen.
You all the time. I just love what you're doing, all the things that you're doing, and you just got started. I know we take 10 years, but like I said, I seen some of the beginnings, and with that being said, I see so much more that God has in store for you. Like, it's so much more. And I'm just so happy that I can say, well, I know how I work.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it so much. I love you. I love your platform and everything that you're doing. So, we here, sis. We here.
You have a blessed and wonderful day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
God bless you.
You too.